Funny, Senator Kennedy, I didn't interpret his comments that same way. I would also say that, one, thank you, and we echo what Senator Reid said, thank you for your independence and doing the job. End of the day, I think tariffs are a tax, and they're going to hit. They're going to hit, I think, starting next quarter. And again, I think the reciprocity argument, that would be a nice goal. I guess I hope we can then explain to the Australians, who are a strong ally of us, who we have a free trade agreement, so we don't have tariffs, who we have a trade surplus with, who I'm hoping we're going to be able to build jointly submarines, why they, with all those things, still got whacked with a 10% tariff. Doesn't seem rational or logical to me. But let me get to, I've been very concerned about some of the Trump administration's, I think, mismanagement of the federal workforce. I can tell you some of the DOGE approach in the national security and intel world. Cuts are having dramatic effects. But today I want to mention something that, frankly, doesn't get a lot of attention, a very small entity, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. U.S. economic data, which has always been independent, it's really been viewed as the gold standard across the globe. And frankly, the BLS data often is the guidepost that investors use regularly. BLS helps us get information about cost of living increases, policy making for you guys. It's used to adjust payments on the roughly $2 trillion in Treasury bonds. The truth is that the BLS data shouldn't be degraded on any basis. Yet, the administration has so dramatically, and I hope my Republican colleagues will hear on this, cut back the staffing at BLS, that the BLS has had to significantly cut back on the collection of critical price and inflation data. Normally, BLS staff, when you don't have all the data collected, will estimate about 10% of the inputs into the CPI. Now, with these cutbacks, they've had to estimate close to 30% of the data. That means faultier data. How can we grapple with this, and what does the undermining and staffing shortages at a BLS mean in terms of your ability at the Fed to do your job?
You know, we can still do our job. I would not want anyone to think that the data have deteriorated to a point where it's difficult for us to understand the economy as well as we can understand it, which is not perfectly. But the direction of travel is concerning. You know, the U.S. has been a leader globally in investing in how to measure the output of a modern economy, which is something that we've led the world in for a long time. And it really helps not just policymakers, but also businesses. If we have accurate information about what's going on in the economy, you're making decisions based on that economy, not just the Fed, not just you, but private companies as well. So I think it's I think it's something we should continue to invest in. And I don't like to see any deterioration in the public data, which has been the gold standard. The BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, and others have really been the bedrock that people really do look to as solid data that tell us what's happening in the economy.
And these people who do collect this input, who do some of this analysis, they are experts. They are not fungible. You fired one and hire another. I mean, there's an expertise here that has been, I think, being undermined. And again, you just look at the fact that if you have to do your estimates, move it from about 10% estimate to a 30% estimate, that is not good for the markets. Let me move to one other topic in my last minute. Stress tests, really important. Those of us who are involved in Dodd-Frank, really important as we try to particularly think about the most significant banks. But there has been concern, I've shared some of this concern, that the stress test process was so opaque that while the regulators may fully have understood, sometimes the very banks being regulated didn't understand fully the criteria. I know you're taking a look at how we can bring more transparency to the process. When do you think we'll see that, and what kind of changes do you think we'll make?
Well, later this year, we've said that we're going to fully disclose the models, and that's the main thing. If you're going to set, it's like the IRS. If you're going to charge people taxes, you have to have the transparency about what that is. It's going to be the same as that. We're going to show how the calculations are made, and we're working on all that right now. We're also going to, we have a proposal out to sort of smooth the results of the test from year to year. So this is something we're working on hard and expect to have important progress later this year when we begin to publish the models.
I'm anxious to see it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Ricketts. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.